I'm still at the conference. I have been non-stop busy with sessions and our presentation. Can you see the view behind me? There is a ladder there. But anyway, beautiful view, isn't it? But I'm so excited to tell you. Well, first of all, the conference has been really good. All of the events have been really good. Our presentation went well. We have attended several sessions that have gone really well. Attended two this morning, one in particular that I would never have attended if it hadn't been in the, what's called a roundtable discussion, and they have 3 different presentations, 2 or 3 different presentations per roundtable, and so there's one person who presents for 25 minutes, and then there's discussion that happens with other people who just come to the table to listen, and then there's another person who presents for 25 minutes, and then there's a discussion that happens. That's how ours went too, yesterday. But we went to see the first one and then stayed because we didn't want to be rude and walk out for the next one. I would never have stayed based on the topic of this, but it ended up being one of my favorite sessions that I attended the whole time. So it was really, really good. Yeah, I just loved what the guy had to say. So anyway, the exciting news though is, you guys, we have a dog. We have a dog, and I haven't even met it yet. My niece got a dog that was really being mistreated. And I won't go into the details of, you know, how that whole thing came about, but she was really being mistreated when she was a puppy. She just was in a cage all the time, pretty much, and just trained to go to the bathroom in a piddle pad. She never got to go outside. She was hardly ever fed, so she was just like eating cigarette butts and just whatever she could find, and awful. So my niece finds out about this and takes the dog because she's like, there's no way. Well, my niece can't keep her. She's just kind of in an unsteady, unstable part of her life. And so about 6 months ago, she gave the dog to my brother, who already has a dog, and he doesn't want another dog. So he's been kind of trying to give the dog away, but he didn't ask us about it. I don't know why. So anyway, this is just, it was just meant to be kind of a thing, because what happened is my brother was driving down to Phoenix yesterday from Flagstaff, and he broke down. His car broke down in Camp Verde. Now, I wasn't home, so my mom calls me and she says, hey, can you go pick up Scott? And I'm like, well, I'm in Denver. So I called I called John and said, my brother's broken down. And so he said, well, you know, I'm on my way home from work. I'll go look for him. And so he went and got my brother, who had the dog with him. And my mom had my brother's other dog. So the dog comes to the house. It's a rescue dog. So we will probably still get our Boston Terrier, but now I feel a little bit vindicated because we're doing a good thing by getting a rescue dog. She is half pug and half Chihuahua. I'm going to pop in a picture so you can see her. She is absolutely adorable. She looks like a messed up pug, really. And she's 1.5 years old. She needs to be fixed. She's never had shots. We need to get her tested for heartworm. We need to get her dewormed. We need to do all these things because at 1.5 years, she's never had any veterinary care. So when I get home, I go back home tomorrow, which is Sunday. So Monday, I'm going to be calling the vet and saying, you know, when can I get this dog in? So hopefully we'll have all that stuff taken care of by the end of the week. She's super sweet. Her name is Stella. And so I've already been referring to her as Stella Cinderella because I think it's a Cinderella story that she's going to come live with us. But anyway, so when I was talking to John yesterday, he said, Scott's got Haley's dog, and he wants to know if we want her. And he goes, I want her. So I said, do you want her instead of a Boston? And he goes, no, I still want a Boston, but I want this dog. She's really sweet. And so apparently she's not had an accident in the house at all. She walks well on a leash. She is a little bit barky, so we're gonna have to work on that. She doesn't care about the cats. Like, the cats walked through the room and she just ignored them. She was just sort of like, excuse me, there's a toy on the floor and I want that. more interested in her toys than anything else. The cats are kind of leery of her, staying away. Chad, of course, is being more of a fraidy cat than Mary. And Chad is gonna, I've always known that when we brought a dog into the home, it was gonna change Chad, because he's been a little, excuse me, but he's been a little shit. He just bugs Mary all the time. And so he wants activities, bored, I think. And so, but he's not gonna be bored anymore. So when I was talking to John, I said, so does Scott really want us to have this dog? And he said, yeah. He said, what were his words? That he didn't want to have another dog. And he said, and there are no better pet owners on the planet than us. That's what my brother said. So, so yeah. John, I could hear John on the phone with her, like, come inside, Stella. And so it's very cute. It kills me that I'm not there, and I can't, yeah, can you tell I'm excited? Oh my gosh, I just can't even believe it. I have a dog, you guys. I have a dog. I thought I was going to have to wait until January. Well, okay, so there I am, just acting totally giddy over this, but super excited to have the energy of a dog back in our house. Can't wait. Hey guys, I'm sitting in a restaurant in the airport. We're really early. It's like 10 o'clock and our flight doesn't even board until 11:40, but we figured we'd just sit here, camp out, find a place to work. I don't know if you can hear me, so I'm pulling it closer. As it turns out, my niece decided she didn't want to leave the dog with us. So I'm disappointed, but I'm thinking it's possible that she may still change her mind. I don't want her to feel like the dog was, you know, we don't want to pressure her into doing something she doesn't want to do, but my brother thinks that she might change her mind and give the dog to us, and I hope so. I just feel bad. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for me because I would like to have a puppy now, but I also just want the dog to have a really good home, and so I was really looking forward to that. So I will keep you updated. Hey guys, it is, oh, awful. It's Wednesday morning, early, like 7. A guy just came over to take a look at our windshield. I have to show you. When I was driving down to Phoenix last week to go to the airport, picked up a pretty big rock from a semi-trailer, and it just smashed the, not smashed, but it, you know, it wasn't like a little ding to the windshield. Show it to you. You see that right there? I don't know if you can, but anyway, it caught a pretty good rock. Anyway, our insurance company repairs and replaces windshields, I'm pretty sure at no cost. So anyway, the guy came out to take a look at it and said that it's too big to replace, and so he's going to, they're going to come back next Monday and fix it. I started my winter garden. I think I might have already mentioned that, but I still have a tomato plant that's producing. I went and pulled these off of it today. Obviously, these are not ripe, but it's pretty chilly. I think it's 46 degrees outside, and since I don't have any tomatoes right now inside, I figure if I took these in and ripened them inside, then I'd have some tomatoes to use. But there are a ton of tomatoes on that plant. I should just show you. So look at all those tomatoes on there. This is, I think it's called a burdock tomato. It's the only tomato plant that I left in the ground because it was starting to produce like crazy, and I figured I would leave that. The other ones were down to producing just, you know, a tomato here or there, and I just didn't want to mess with it. Hi guys, it's Thursday. I am going to be heading down to Phoenix here in a little bit. I'm just actually driving up to the next freeway exit from where my exit is, going to my house. My friends are coming down. 2 of my friends are coming down from Phoenix, and they're meeting me up here. And we're all going to go down to Phoenix because our friend, who is also our boss, her father passed away last Wednesday. It was actually on the day that I left for Denver. And so the three of us are going down for his funeral. Another friend of ours is going to be, who lives in the Phoenix area, she works with us too. She's going to be meeting us there as well. So just to be there as a support for our friend. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of it. Nothing terribly exciting. Oh, this is terribly exciting. My mother-in-law's hair is starting to grow back. She sent me a picture of her bald head with her chicken hair, as she calls it, growing back on her head. She's a real fine, wispy hair. So anyway, she's doing great. My dad seems to be doing pretty well. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I told you, he's the comeback kid. Hey guys, I feel like all I'm doing is car chats these days. Okay, so yesterday went to my friend's dad's funeral. It was a very nice funeral, very nice tribute to a man who served 37 years in the Air Force. And so it was really kind of an interesting funeral too, because they did this whole military thing. There was a whole bunch of symbolic stuff that they did, which was very cool. And then when they played taps at the end, you know, tears just started gushing out. But it was nice. It was nice for my friend to have 4 of her peeps there with her, and just people that she didn't have to feel like she had to welcome and make feel, comfortable. Thank you for coming. You know, we're just her buddies. You know, we were just hanging there for her. So it's just really nice. And when she saw me, she, I guess my other friend had contacted her about when the funeral was. I hadn't. I had been in touch with her since her dad died, but anyway, so when I saw her, she just looked at me and said, "I didn't expect you to be here," and she just hugged me and just burst into tears, and then I started crying, and it was just, I think she didn't expect me to be there because my dad is going through, this stuff. I've been saying that our dads were having a race to the finish line, and anyway, so it was very sweet. Okay, so after that, my 2 of my friends, we went down to, on our way back up, there's this place called Black Canyon City right off of Interstate 17, and you know what? This is a weird little fact. I-17 goes from Flagstaff down to Phoenix. Isn't an interstate supposed to go between states? It doesn't. It stops in Flagstaff, and it goes from Phoenix to Flagstaff, and that's it. So not really an interstate, but it is called I-17, and I'm actually getting on I-17 right at this moment. I'm heading over. Oh, anyway, we stopped at this little cafe in Black Canyon City. So for those of you who live in Arizona, Lori and Cindy, if you've never been there, it's just kind of this quirky little cafe, and they have really good food, and they have amazing pie. I had some cherry pie, and I had a salad. It was really good salad. Had cranberries and pecans and stuff like that, or was it walnuts? Walnuts, maybe. Anyway, so we did that. Today is Friday. John is not working today. He's running some errands. We're going to go do some things this afternoon. We have to take care of, just a few things, some stuff related to our house and our irrigation rights. So I have to get a paper notarized, and yeah. Right now, I'm driving over to the grocery store, Bash's', where they're doing a mobile blood donation thing, and I had signed up a couple months ago to do, a series of blood donations, and I'm going to keep doing that. I have a fairly rare blood type, so I think it's probably good if I do that. So I gave in, when was it, September, and now here it is, October. I think I'm signed up to do one in December. But they have a little blood donation mobile thing in the grocery store parking lot. So I'm going to do that. Other than that, I'm cooking a turkey tonight. Yeah, no plant-based meal tonight. But we had this turkey breast that we bought last year before Thanksgiving, and thinking, that we would just it's good sized turkey breast. They're pretty big. And so we figured, we'll just cook that for Thanksgiving and not have any leftovers. And because we had people at our house. And then we went to that turkey plucking and won a turkey that was gigantic. So the frozen turkey breast has been in our freezer for the last, 10 months now? So I checked online to find out how long a frozen turkey is good, and they said that while it is best to have within 7 months, that they are actually, if they have stayed frozen the whole time, how they're kind of vacuum sealed, if they're, they've been undisturbed, unopened, in the freezer the whole time, then they are actually good for 2 to 3 years. So I figured, well, we better go ahead and have this. It's still under a year, but better go ahead and have it. So we invited some friends to come over. I'm not sure if they're going to. If they don't, I'll probably just shred a lot of the turkey up and use it in some other things, or let John take it for lunch. I like turkey okay. I'm just not a big fan of poultry, I guess I should say. I really am not a big fan of chicken. Turkey's better. I'm not sure why I like turkey better. Probably a texture thing. But so we're gonna so I'll probably just put that aside, and then I'll eat a little bit of turkey tonight. But yeah, so anyway, that's gonna be a good thing to do. It's long overdue, but I've been wanting to do it for a while, but it's been too hot, to heat up the kitchen for 2.5 hours. And I just was, I was unwilling. Plus, I was not in the mood to eat a turkey when it was summer. Plus, I was doing plant-based thing all the time too, and so that wasn't going to work. But I'm actually looking forward to making this, so I'm going to stop at the grocery store and pick up a few things I need to make this really, really yummy stuffing that I make. And John said he wanted mashed potatoes too, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to get a bag salad to have with it. So there I am, rambling on here. I don't think I have anything else to say. Okay, finished giving blood. For a minute there, I thought I wasn't going to be able to. When they take you inside, they have you fill out a questionnaire, and they want to make sure that you haven't had any risky behavior or, any recent surgeries or things like that. Well, then they do your temperature and your blood pressure, pulse, and then my hair's blowing. And then they test your blood to see if your iron level is high enough. And so they pricked my finger and tested it, and my iron was too low. It was supposed to be like 12.5, and mine came out 12.3. And so anyway, I was like, really? So she said, yeah. She said, let's try your other finger. Sometimes it can just be our machine. And so she went ahead and did the other finger. And I said, well, if my iron's too low, like, what do I need to do next time to raise the level? And she said, well, how much? She said, do you exercise a lot? And well, yeah, no, she said, do you exercise? And I said, well, I haven't really this week, but yes, normally I'm quite a walker. She said, okay, well, she said, if you haven't been a walker and then you started walking, that would increase your iron. But if you've already been doing that, that wouldn't be the case. And then she said, how much red meat do you eat? And I said, well, not very much. And she said, well, that's good. She said, that's one thing. You can go have a big old juicy hamburger. And I was like, oh, gross. Ugh, I don't really like, hamburgers are fine, but I just don't like a lot of meat ever. I don't ever want to completely give up meat completely, but I just don't like to have a lot of meat. So like a big hamburger does not sound great to me. Sometimes a bite of a hamburger sounds good. But okay, so then she said, and also she said, do you eat much spinach? And I said, yes, I just had a smoothie this morning with 2 cups of greens in it. And I said, and I had a smoothie yesterday and the day before. So she said, well, anyway, she tested my other finger, so I have Band-Aids on both hands. She tested the other finger, and then my iron level went up into the 13s. It was like 13.9 or something. So I was fine. It was just, I guess, their machine. So, but that was good, because I was like, I don't want to have to go eat a hamburger every time I'm going to go give blood. So it went really fast, and I always feel good about giving blood. And if I haven't mentioned this before, years ago, I was afraid of needles. Like when I was younger, even in high school, I got to hear that the doctor say I was going to have to get a shot, and I would cry. And so I hated it. And I hated that I hated it. So I wanted to get over that. Sorry, I'm going to get my mail. Okay, got my mail. I wanted to get over my fear of needles. Well, I guess it's not really a fear of needles. It's a fear. It was a fear of getting stuck by needles. So I just decided that the best way to get over that was to start making myself get stuck by needles. And so I started giving blood. And then over the years, just blood work and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not bothered by needles anymore. But that's how I got myself over that fear, is that I just figured, you know, face your fear. Go get stuck with needles on purpose. So, yeah. So I think it's a good thing to do. I'm signed up for 2 months from now to have it done again. So, you know, if that's something that ever crosses your mind, just do it. Just go on to the website for United Blood Services. I am not affiliated with them at all. Look for a blood drive in your area and just sign up, and then sign up for 2 months later, and 2 months later, and 2 months later. Today ended up being kind of a busy day for me, and if I had just left it up to being a walk-in, I would not have gone. But because it was on my calendar, I did. So there you go.
So here it is, an early Thanksgiving dinner, our turkey, our mashed potatoes, and this recipe for stuffing that if I forget to put it in the space below, you need to ask me to do that, because this is so good. It's an Alton Brown recipe. It calls for porcini mushrooms. We use the wild mushrooms that we get behind our old house in Flagstaff, and so yummy. So anyway, all this plate needs is some fresh veggies, and we're good.
What I wouldn't give for a riding lawnmower right about now.
Would it go over the hill?
You know what we did is we went up to
Yeah,
Flagstaff.
So you nullify if it hits the pole.
Over there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know.